Welcome back to another fantastic episode of I'm Gonna Talk and You're Gonna Listen. It's currently the middle of the night on a Sunday night, and hope you like the new little intro. We'll just do some house cleaning like I always do. The art book is nearing completion of like the first draft, and almost all the book covers are done. The last handful of book covers should be done in just a few days. At this rate, ended up having a lot of memory problems again, RAM. But I'm just gonna hold off until I can completely buy a new computer. For whenever that happens, I'll just wait till the next generation comes down a little bit. The homestead's doing just fine. We have peas, strawberries, potatoes, and onions all ready. And the kale is slowly doing stuff. The tomatoes are doing great, not quite producing. Blueberries are doing great. Both of my raspberries came back. The elderberries are doing fine. Only ended up losing 4 trees. 2 of them really surprised me that I lost. 3 of them really surprised me that I lost. Just unfortunately, it appears that, a rabbit had snuck in there at some point and chewed the bark. Chewed the bark off enough to kill him. One that was chewed all the way down to the bottom has 2 suckers coming out. Whether or not those will ever produce anything, I have no idea. And then one of them that still had one of its branches, one of its grafts isn't coming back, so a total of 4 aren't coming back. The rest are. So I would consider that a success. The one that I didn't think was the one that I thought was annihilated came back. And then the 4 that I thought were fine and look fine didn't come back. So, and yeah, one of those, the bunny just like killed off at just the last second over the winter. Bummed me out. I would have had to have been working day and night like crazy and still don't know if I would have completely got ahead of it. But I mean, I only lost 4 trees, so that's fine. So where else? What else? I'm still working on it slowly but surely on Fanny 2. If those of you are listening, are bunker buddies on my coffee page. Sorry there hasn't been a lot of updates. I feel like I'm kind of in a place right now where maybe like feel like writing isn't giving me like the same feeling as like creating things that I can see and things that I can hear. So like for those of you who like listened to the AI album, the first P&W Affliction soundtrack, if you haven't checked that out, it's an hour and 10 minutes of awesome. It was feeling really good, me making music and images. It felt great. Like I worked on it, I don't know, 8-10 plus hour, I don't know. I was working on it like crazy. It felt so good, and like you gotta strike when the iron's hot, and when you feel like really doing something, and I feel like having that soundtrack, that music has really like lifted my spirits, given me new music to listen to, and songs that, the songs that I want to listen to. I realize, like, when you've listened to pretty much every song that has ever existed, almost, it feels like, in a lot of ways, like, what do you do? And I know there's a lot of people out there by now who just consume insane amounts of music, and then you put your favorite playlist together, and then what? You try to make another playlist, and you keep kind of resolving it. Your taste might change a little bit, or you might be in different moods. But I remember, even with like when satellite radio was at its peak in the mid 2000s, before they jumped the shark, before Sirius destroyed satellite music. That was nice. Now you've got like di.fm. But like, we have really spotty internet out here. I can't listen to DI like everywhere on the property. So you got to make your own playlists. Blah, blah. Most of you probably don't care. So making my own music was really uplifting. If you want to try to make AI music, I'll throw an invite code down in the about or description or whatever. And what that does is it kind of gives you enough kind of like points for free to practice making a few songs. It's not amazing, but it's pretty good. But before I really jump into that, I'm trying to think if there's any other housekeeping stuff. I can't really think of anything. So we'll just jump right into topic number 1, the AI music PNW Affliction soundtrack that I made. So it started with the Seattle's Falling song. That's how it all started. And because I had just tried to plug into a prompt, like, write me a song about Seattle falling because everything is going to shit, and make it a trance song. And it did it. And then I'm like, oh, okay, this is pretty cool. And I hadn't really thought much of it, because you could only make them in like 2-minute increments, and it was virtually impossible. A decent song is roughly, like, to me, like about 3 minutes and 15 seconds. It gives you time for 3 verses, like a chorus and like a bridge or something, and just a little bit of instrumental. But it was only making like 2-minute songs, so I hadn't really thought about it. So they switched to 4-minute songs, and I made a new account because I was feeling wishy-washy about like my data getting mined. So I switched to a different account, which ended up working anyway, because I wanted a different name on it and a different logo and stuff. Anyway, blah, blah, blah. So, I wish I could remember like the second song I made, but nobody cares. Who am I kidding? Nobody cares about this. But I don't know, whatever. If there's a couple people out there, I'm just going to keep trying to stay positive. Essentially what ends up happening is there's a lot of different kinds of genres of music I liked, and so I thought, why don't I just make a song in the PNW verse, which is what I've started calling it, of a song of every genre type that I like, and then make it an album. So I tried to make like a lo-fi track, I tried to make, like a synth kind of driving track. I tried to make like an 8-bit kind of chip tune, 16-bit-ish like chip tunes track. You know, I tried to make a track that was like kind of like emotional. I always call it just like emotional high school music. But you know, like can't think of their name all of a sudden. But you know, there's a couple, I don't know, The Cure and a couple other those like mopey, you know, Radiohead. Um and then some kind of like alt rocky kind of country, and then some like industrial, you know. So I just kind of went through and I made not every single one of those tracks like turned out how I wanted it to, but how it turned out ended up working like way better. And then I just realized like I had inadvertently made an entire story. So I tried to explain the story to a few people and they didn't get it. And so I thought, well, if people don't get it, then I'm going to have to make little pictures, you know, and so it's kind of like a musical photo album. But then I realized, like, this is also good because it'll get my watch time up. And ever since I've been making music compilations for watch time, I always try to put little Easter eggs in. Honestly, only 1 or 2 people even care. But I feel better about my work when I put more time into it, even if at the end of the day it's just polishing a turd, because like the best I can do is still barely serviceable by the standards of people who do these things full time. To none of which I can even remotely compete with, but I'm okay with that because none of them could compete with what I actually do full time. And I think that's going to be topic number 2. Since none of you really know what I do, what I really do, and what I really do is a hot discussion right now because the market is terrible. So are we? But are we ready to go to topic number 2? I guess I'll just say for my AI album, please check it out. There's 2 audio glitches in it. I'm debating making a director's cut, but I have found some serious flaws in the AI music that are preventing me from making the songs exactly how I want to make them in any meaningful way. And so I guess I'll wrap this up by saying, just like every other AI tool, these really are tools. Could this AI music, you know, eventually replace real singers, real bands someday? For electronic music, for like synth, I think it could, because no offense, synth is super basic. But for rock music, I've noticed that the AI, despite being able to make very elementary sounding rock music really well, they almost need to have like a button that says, now tell the AI to make this song as if this band has been singing it for a while and now has to sing it live. And you'll notice that it's missing a lot of like the hype and inflection of actually like performing for an audience. So like it won't go like da 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 da, yeah, da 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 da, yeah. like you have to listen to the song over and over and over and over and try to listen for a lot of those key beats that it's missing. And a lot of the time when you put that in, the AI doesn't understand unless you really craft the song well and wait to roll it enough times until it understands like the inflection that it's supposed to put in. There's still really no way to like select and highlight a part of the track and go like, you sang this part of the track really, really well. Because you can tell like the AI is like building up and building up and building up, and it's reaching this like crescendo, then it'll get to the next verse and forget that it was like building up this hype. And then it'll go back to the bridge and sound really good. And it doesn't have like it doesn't stay processing on something long enough to like sing the song over and over and over again. Like there's no seed to like latch onto a band and a style to where it can learn. And I think that's like the biggest weakness of these LLMs. They've clearly learned from something, and there's thumbs up and thumbs downs and stuff. But as I'm building, building these albums, thumbs upping and thumbs downing things, if there is some like discernible progress that it's made, I can't pull open like a giant matrix and tell it like, yo, when I say instrumental, I don't want you to keep saying the verses over and over again. And I can't tell it like, I told you to convert from piano to guitar to full band and you didn't do it. And then when it does do it and I thumbs it up, it doesn't seem to retain, like it doesn't factor that stuff in. So like people who are scared of AI, I think not all, but I think the majority of people have no idea that like AI really isn't learning that much right now, if anything. And if it is learning anything, it's not discernible, first of all. And second of all, these AIs, I think they still like hallucinate like crazy. There are still choices that they make that make no sense at all. And there's no traceability to be like, why the hell did you make this choice? So when I send feedback back to Suno's AI team, that's the name of the music software, like, I don't even think if they know, let alone care. And the reason why is I don't know them. Whereas like I think I talked to the people from Kyber a lot. The people from Kyber were the ones that were making the image generation animation that was so much fun. It had some issues, but it was fun. It was fun for a little while. It was expensive though. Whereas like Suno, I don't know them enough to know if they really give a shit. But this could be an insane premiere product, or it could just be a cash grab. That's why I refuse to pay any of these places like a year up front. Every single AI place, and I'll wrap up the AI conversation after this, I promise. Every single AI company wants you to pay like a year up front, but that still only gets you like a certain amount of credits. And then you could like re-up your credits. Here's the problem though, like they can ghost you, right? Or they could just, which this happened to a friend of mine with a different AI place, they could just not give you your credits. And then what recourse do you have, right? So, or they could just shit, they could just stop. iterating. And it's impossible to join these companies in any capacity to partner with them. But Suno, much like Kyber, has the capacity to be an amazing product. But I want you to understand something. These AIs really are not learning that much. What's being iterated is not how fast they learn. What's being iterated on is just what the capacity is that they have, more or less. And then they just throw more data centers at them and try to get them to process everything faster. Image generation is the same thing. Like, I still haven't found a single AI for image generation where you can tell it. And I'll use an example of book number 4, Anastasia Adrift. With it has a ship, and the Anastasia, the ship has a foredeck that curve around like pincers. There is no ship in the world designed this way. The AI hates that. And it will fight you to the ends of the earth before it will make that, because it doesn't like that. It's the same thing with black rainbows or centaurs. It's like, it'll be like, there's no such thing as a black rainbow, which is the book cover to 16. It won't make one. I don't know if they finally fixed that, but like, so you can't draw a black rainbow and then tell it this is a black rainbow. It won't believe you. I'll be like, no, that doesn't make any sense. There's just some things like that where we have no way of telling the AI, and I'm not a good enough artist to draw the Anastasia in a way to where the ship can recognize those components. It doesn't see the bug pincers as a deck to a ship. When its learning model looks at that and it sees a ship with a bug on top of it. So I want you to understand, like, there's still a place in the world for musicians. There's still a place in the world for artists. Hollywood could go away as far as I'm concerned, but I think they're going to massively gatekeep. Crap, I'm forgetting the name of that AI all of a sudden. They're going to gatekeep that AI that can make movies, though. If there was enough data centers, that would put Toys R Us, not Toys R Us. Toys R Us were the people with the video. That would put Hollywood out of business overnight. Which, to be clear, I think should happen. Indie movies, yes. Hollywood, no. So, we, as a culture, still have years to go on AI, and the reason is that NVIDIA can't make the boards, they can't mass produce the boards, blah, 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 number one. And number two, there aren't enough data centers on the planet. And number three, there's not enough electricity on the planet. So unless we come up with cold fusion and NVIDIA finally comes up with the boards that we need, AI is like super bottlenecked right now. It doesn't have the processing power to learn as fast as it needs to. So quantum computing's not going anywhere. So I'll leave the AI conversation there for now. And then I want to talk about job stuff. So go get a drink or something. Using nearby for plastic and coal. Blueprints in my mind, feeling
no control in sight. Guarding our neighborhoods and ready to fight.
Welcome back. Okay. Topic numero dos. Jobs, the job market, the cities. I'm a computer guy, as most of you know, or have figured out, or something. And I want to talk about the job market a little bit. The YouTubes are full of people losing their jobs. Some of them to AI, some of them to robotics. But some of them is just downsizing. So I want to kind of clear some things up about this. These big corporations, they're all corporation-y, as you all know. Top 0.1%, blah blah blah, people, billions of dollars, blah 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 blah. Couple things. Even if the CEOs made $1 a year, distributing their money wouldn't make anybody else. Wouldn't make anyone's paychecks go up that much. They certainly wouldn't be able to pay off the debt. You could tax them back to the Stone Age. It wouldn't touch their capital gains. It wouldn't give free healthcare to anybody. So just getting all that out of the way. What's happening right now is all those super richy riches are accumulating more and more and more money by laying everybody off. They lay people off. That's the fastest way to make their stonks look better, right? You lay people off, the stock market goes up. You lay off people who have been there longer, and you replace them with thirsty dimwits that don't know jack shit, and just hope everything still floats. And I think everybody's confused. Not everybody. I think a lot of people are confused. Why would they do that? Don't they know that like the wheels, the train tracks are gonna fall off? The train's gonna fall off the rails. And I think the answer is, after seeing what's happened to Marvel and seeing what's happened to Hollywood, Disney, I mean, not Marvel, Disney, there's a lot of speculation that a lot of these higher level institutions, the colleges too, they know that everything is coming to an end. And they are just simply literally riding this to the rails till the rails come off the subway station. And I think a lot of local legislature is doing the same thing. That's why nothing seems to be getting improved, even though they keep raising taxes and they keep, finding tens of millions laying around, but nobody seems to be getting any help. Kind of the joke is they've lost enough money to completely rebuild the city at this point. And probably multiple cities, these governors are maintaining tens of millions of dollars in surplus that they're not spending on anything, and nobody knows why. Some of the numbers I've heard are like 50 million more, maybe more, in some of these cities. And the unemployment systems are broken. Social Security disability is broken. Health insurance may as well be not working. Not to mention, the retirement. That's another problem. And I don't even know how many trillions of dollars in debt we are right now. So everybody's just hoarding at the upper levels. And I genuinely believe that they have stopped trying to sustain the systems that they're working in, and they're just providing the illusion that everything is still going. Not the utilities, so water and sewer and power, but even like a lot of these power companies, these like private power companies, California, Texas, I think. Is Texas private? I don't know. Puerto Rico. These power companies, and there's like 4 dams that are like maybe breaching around the U.S. Everyone needs to know evacuation routes if they're near a dam, first of all. They defer maintenance on their power lines and their dams and these stupid windmills. They defer maintenance for so long, and then they act shocked when something goes bad, and then they can never, where did the money go? And then they have to get more, federal will pay for it with some emergency blah blah blah. Same thing with these wildfires. And I'm feeling a lot like this is kind of how like China like runs things, where you just have like these corrupt little municipalities that are just like ride until the wheels fall off and hope that federal is there to catch them, and all of a sudden ships are bumping into bridges and roads through passes are just sliding into ravines, and nothing's being done for preventative maintenance. They wait until the wheels fall off, and then they're like, I guess we better do something. And so I think in that regard, I think that's why people are having such a hard time getting into tech, white collar jobs right now, because the up mucky mucks, like, I think they're behind closed doors, full well knowing that they are riding this till the rails come off the railroad. So whatever the metaphor is. Because there's no other excuse for why they are lying about unemployment. Meanwhile, everyone's doing Uber and UPS and FedEx and door dashing and stuff, like, or they're working at Home Depot for a couple hours a week. I just saw somebody's, and he was like, yeah, you can go, or he or she or whoever it was like, yeah, you can go work for like 4 hours a week at Home Depot, and they don't count unemployment anymore. And it doesn't count how many people have given up, which is a massive margin. So this I'm just going to tell you right now, this crash going on right now is worse than the 2014 crash. But I think I've said this before, but it's being artificially propped up by FedEx, UPS, DoorDash, and Uber, and the other, myriad of gig work. But one of these days, all that gig work is going to come to an end, and everyone's going to have, like their one shift at Home Depot and their one shift at Lowe's, and it's just not going to cut it. Excuse me, I'm sorry. It's freaking 12:30. Hold on. So, like, what's gonna happen? Like, houses are getting foreclosed on. People's cars are getting repoed. They can't sell cars. They keep selling cars with the max trims that nobody can afford. The car dealerships are loaded. Nobody can, like, Anyway, the point is, like, getting into an office job is going to be damn near impossible. I'm not saying give up, but like HR, what the hell do they need HR for if they're laying everybody off? Recruiters, what do they need recruiters for if they're laying everybody off? I had a recruiter call me the other day, and he sounded like some go-getter kid, you know, and he was taking everything that I threw at him. And then I said, hey, are you going to email me? And I gave him my email address, and he's like, yeah, I'm going to email you. You know, I never got an email from him. And I didn't recognize his agency's name, and whoever that agency's name was, I know I never sent them a resume. So I don't know where he got it from. But the fact that he didn't even email me back tells me that he doesn't have anything. They're just fishing for info. So I want to tell you a couple things that they fish for. They want to know the rate that you're looking for, because they need to know what kind of rates, you know, that they can even be offering people right now. That's why they want to know what you made at your last job. That way they don't have to give you a fair offer. They can lowball you and absorb as much of that money as possible. So when you throw a number at them and it's too much, they're going to make you feel like shit. But the reality is, one of two things is going on if you highball them. Either the market doesn't support that right now, or they just know they can't make any money off you. And in my case, I know I've beat this into the ground. You know, I got screwed on my retention. I got screwed on my recompete. And because I've been a contractor my whole life, and those are things that you've got to get used to, and sometimes the timing just doesn't work. So I'm well below market now for what I do, and I will probably be behind market for what I do the rest of my life now, because I can't move jobs. So I went from being at the top of the market, I think I've said this before, to being at the bottom of my market, really in just a few years. Simply through the fact that I can't job hop. You know, I was unemployed there for 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Under 4 years, I was unemployed during that horrible crash. So I want people to understand something. Like, this crash is worse than the last one, and we are still only at the beginning of this crash. You guys haven't seen anything yet. If you didn't witness, what is it? The .com crash, the 06, 07 crash, the 2013, 2014 crash. If you didn't witness any of those, this one's worse. You have no idea what's coming. And the reason why it's so bad is because all of the people that skated through all of the other ones, they're making enough money now to where HR and management is probably sitting behind closed doors, and they're going, you know, do we really need this person? Can we just hire some little shitter to just pretend to do it, or just go without at all? Just not worry about it. Just let the chips fall, because that is 100% what they'll do. They don't care about retaining business intelligence anymore. all they care about is DEI and trying to get butts in chairs and trying to prop up commercial real estate as long as they can and try to force people back in the office even though it's not working and it's never going to work. And you've got these boomers walking around going, well, people should go in the office because in the office is where you work. I'm sorry. I go to the office and you know what happens? There's a couple people trying to work that can't because you've got the people in the office that refuse to do anything and they walk around and socialize. Those people did nothing before the Rona. Those people did nothing during the Rona. And now we are we're post-Rona. And there are still people walking around the office, not doing shit, except for socializing with other people who are also not doing shit. It does not matter if you're in the office. Boomers need to get this dumb shit idea out of their head. It's infuriating to me. You have 20% of the people doing 80 to 90% of the work. But these managers will still tell that 20% that they are not worth anything and that they have no leverage. And they absolutely will let that 20% go and just let the chips fall because they don't care. And then they're gone for like 2 or 3 week vacation. Then the people that were walking around not doing anything are out on a 2 or 3 week vacation. And you're still there just grinding like crazy, trying to stay above water. And more people come to you for everything because they're part of the... And if you don't know what I'm talking about, I'm sorry, you're part of that other you're part of that other group. Because once people find out that you're one of the hardcores, you start getting requests to do everything. And all of a sudden you find out really fast who's busy and who's not, because you get people asking stupid questions and you can tell they're not tuned in because they're asking dumb shit. And then stuff that it takes a 10-second decision all of a sudden starts taking months. Because the people who should be making the decision aren't around. And this could go on for like 4 months. This could go on for 6 months waiting on a 2-second decision. Meanwhile, you're working your ass off. And if you had done that, they'd be burning your bridges down. Trying to get an answer. And this is what office life is like right now. But then you go on LinkedIn and everyone's having their cutesy little DEI photos. And they're super happy because it's the month of June. You know, they can do all that stuff. They keep their optics going to give themselves their big pats on the back. But that's it. Innovation? There's no innovation going on right now besides robotics and AI. They want to get everything battery operated and throw an AI on it and throw robotics on it. And then they want to lay everybody off. Do you think for 1 second that diversity, equity, and inclusion matters at all when everything is replaced by AI and robotics? Everyone likes to joke around, oh, like, what are you stupid conservatives pissed off about this week? You know, is it, just insert, you know, thing. You guys upset about sports? Are you guys upset about bathrooms? Are you guys upset about, like, other things I won't throw out there? And it's like, a true conservative doesn't give a shit about diversity, equity, and inclusion because it is a total distraction. Do you think like having your flag on a road matters when everything is replaced by AI and robots, and you live in a police state ran by illegals, and they've taken away all your guns? Do you think your flag on the street means anything at that point? I'm saying that to like the lefty-loo folks, and then the lefty-loo folks get mad because someone, does a burnout on their flag. It's like, do you think any of that shit matters? When there's tens of thousands of people flooding over the southern border that are doing the absolute worst things imaginable to our most vulnerable population. All of this, the horrible, horrific, unspeakable, barbaric things that happened in Germany when they first got invaded are the same things happening here. Absolutely barbaric things that should be 100% incompatible with our society are happening here now. And so, yeah, you got to try to get a job, but you got to understand there is not a lot of time left. And most people do not get that because they're being distracted. And I haven't done a podcast this month because this is my element. This is actually when I feel the most comfortable, because this environment is unfortunately where I have the most experience. It's harder for me to deal with things when everything is fine. But this is like the calm before the storm, where police is at all-time lows. They're talking about replacing them with you can go look it up. In Seattle, they're talking about replacing them with illegals. So the Chaz zones are starting to pop back up again. They got done taking over the colleges, but school's out. Give it like 2 more weeks, it's going to be anarchy again. Start the anarchy. So what do? Try to drive Uber for a little while longer, if there's even open Uber slots in your area, So I should have a couple glimmers of hope here. I'll say 2 things. The post office needs people really bad. Yes, they're going to be automating more stuff, but they still need a lot of people. And speaking from seeing how my packages are getting eaten up by their sorting machines, they can use all the help that they can get. Shout outs to JH, who has a really good USPS YouTube channel. They're hiring. And the USPS is very, 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 very good jobs. Just some politics, but there's politics everywhere. USPS is getting ready. USPS doesn't have downturns like FedEx and UPS does. I think I've said this before, like USPS is like the backbone. Okay, and then the second thing is like medical. Like, yes, the hospitals are on strike all the time and they're their own meme, and they're unaware of them being their own meme. And they hosed themselves by letting a lot of high performers go during the Rona because they wouldn't get the zip zoop. But they need people like crazy. More people are getting sick. insurance is going to be insolvent, and people are going to need a lot of medical help. And even though they don't seem to be building new hospitals, I've been spending some time at the doctor's office lately, and I can tell you that they need help. So, if for some reason somebody young enough to actually switch, I guess, maybe you're sitting there unemployed, doom scrolling, and somehow fall upon this and you stayed this long. Healthcare, USPS. If I had to do it all over again, I would go USPS. But healthcare USPS. Those are going to be like the two things. And don't tell me that they can replace hospitals with robotics and AI and shit, because the systems in those places are a joke. So that's kind of, I don't know if that's all exactly where I wanted to go with that topic. But I can say that where I'm at, we're hiring very slowly but surely, and can't get qualified applicants at all. I have no idea why that is. I suspect legitimately qualified applicants, most of which are still, maybe they're able to find work. I don't know. One of the things that I've heard that have made people successful, if they're overqualified, is to stop putting their higher qualifications on their resumes. I don't know if that's a good idea or not, but I think that's interesting. I don't know, but I do know that we're not getting qualified applicants, and I don't know why. I don't know if they're all getting flushed out, or if there's an AI flushing them out, or if they're all submitting shit through AI and that's getting flushed out. I don't know, but I'm sure that we get hundreds of applicants. So, the fact that none of them qualify is really weird. And we're not doing a ton of hiring, but we finally were hiring for 2 positions, and I'm not convinced anybody was qualified. I'll wait to see who they extended an offer out to see if they're qualified or not, but I don't really know what's going on right now. I don't know if people that were qualified maybe started their own startups. Maybe that's what happened in the last crash, is everyone started their own startups, hired their buddies and did their own things. And I mean, you can do that too if you're super smart. Start your own startup. But yeah. So I'll take another break here for a second, rest my voice, and see if I want to dredge up another topic, maybe talk about the elections. I don't know, but I'll be right back.
On the streets they wander low, tents and tarps, where do they go? Faces lost in shadows deep, dreams that crumble, fight to keep. Homeless souls in the night, on the stars no guiding light. Battles fought in silent wars, desperate hearts behind closed doors. Save us, someone hear our cry. Lift us where the eagles fly. Through the darkness show the way. Give us hope to face the day.
All right. I guess maybe to wrap that last topic up, what I'm trying to say is that tech tech isn't dead. Like, office work isn't dead completely. It's just like 95% dead. It's not completely dead, I think, is my point. I understand why people would still want to work in an office or remote. I mean, you know, work theoretically for an office. But good luck. You have to really, 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 really know somebody or a miracle. So, I see a lot of YouTube comments and every single, you know, how do I get a tech job? How do I get a coding job? How do I get a computer science job? Kind of the joke is, you know, 4, 6, 8 years ago, whenever that was, when that whole, you know, learn to code, that learn to code meme, and then they started, you know, banning people for saying learn to code. And so the joke was like, well, everyone learned to code, you know, and now they don't need coders anymore. You kind of do, but I mean, it's like mega, 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 mega rare. So you got all these people going into STEM and computer science and stuff. Don't need it. I guess I would say that, like, engineering, there's still a lot of engineering going on. I don't know how, I don't have firsthand knowledge of how good kids are doing directly out of engineering school right now, but I do know that engineering is doing okay. I also have it on good authority that business analysis isn't going anywhere for a while. I think QA could eventually get taken over by AI, but without somebody to put in like really, really good requirements, really good user stories, even if you had like a great AI, you would still need someone that can write really good user stories to give the AI context for what it's even supposed to be doing. And I think we're still a ways off from that. But yeah, you know, like your tech leads, you know, Agile's still going strong. BAs are still going strong. I don't know if you necessarily need a bunch of BA certificates anymore. But I would say if you're going to college for some, here's what I'll wrap this up with, and I can't remember who said it. But if you're going to college for something that you really believe in, and there's some semblance of a job market actually exists for it, and you know where you want to go, that is going to shine through in your interviews. And that is what has always worked for me. Every time I've ever got, you know, like a real job, like a real contract job, I knew exactly what I wanted to do. And it always lined up with exactly what they were doing. And so when an agency says like we want to, you know, find a really good fit, you know, all the times I didn't get it, unfortunately, they were things that I could have done, but they weren't really my niche. You know, one of them comes to mind. This company had some kind of SAP thing, and they needed somebody to, was it SAP or was it I can't remember. It was one of those. It was some accounting, some enterprise level accounting system. And I'm like, yeah, I know what that is, and yeah, I could probably figure it out, but like, I don't know how to code in it. I mean, I know how to code, and I know what these, accounting systems are, but I don't know how to code in that one. So even though I could have done it, or I could have figured it out, I wasn't like the perfect fit for them. And so, kind of what I would do with a lot of these places, if I wasn't a good fit for them, I would kind of tell them what I think they needed to do. Because, I don't know. I always felt bad for them. Like, they would need, like, report writers. I'd be like, yeah, I could write your reports for you, but the timeline that you have isn't even, like, appropriate. You need to, like, if you want to hire me, it's gonna take more time than that. You've got hundreds of reports you need to run, and you want it done in 4 months. It's just not possible, So they would always be like bad fits. But then I'd find somebody, and it's like, oh, you want to resurrect a dead project? Like, boom, I'm your guy. Like that is what I do. That is literally what I do. And pretty much every single time I can ever think of, like, I always nailed those, and I always got them. So if you're going to college for something, or you're going and getting like certificates, believe in what you're doing, or if you want to be a welder, or if you want to be an electrician, or if you're super crazy and want to be an underwater welder or whatever, or if you want to build data centers or whatever, like, which is going to be a lot of travel, but maybe you like to build data centers, like, you have to know exactly what you want to do, because you've got to convey that in your interviews. Anyway, that's the last of the job stuff I think I'm going to talk about. So what should we do? It's 1 a.m. I don't feel like I've been talking for an hour, but maybe I have. Yeah, unless you want to, I don't know, develop video games or something, but that's getting tough. Everybody thinks they can make a video game again, or be a streamer. So what do you want to talk about? I don't know. I'm just kind of, maybe 2 topics is enough, and maybe I'll just wrap this up. Like, I'm just in chill mode right now. They're absolutely trying to force us back in the office again. I have no doubt in about 2 weeks they're going to try to force us back in the office again. And I have no doubt that that's when the civil unrest is going to peak, because all the little, ninjas, all the little ninjas are done with school, and they already got done trashing all the colleges, and they don't want to work. And I'm not like contrasting them with all the other people that everyone is just mean and say they don't want to work, but they really do. I mean, these are the people that really don't want to work. I don't think we're going to get to universal basic income yet. I don't think we're going to get to universal health care yet. I don't think we're going to get to digital currency yet. But, like, that's what they're going to be pushing for. They're going to be pushing for free college. They're going to be pushing to end the wars, which that's not going to happen. They're going to want to, quote unquote, end capitalism, which means they're going to destroy all the businesses again, what little businesses are left. The roads are going to be insanely dangerous. They're going to keep trying to disarm everybody. And everything is getting more expensive. So it's tough. The inclination for everybody is to keep working until the wheels fall off. And if part of your working had better mean getting up security, getting training, and getting your food up and getting right with your neighbors. I wish I was tighter with my neighbors. I'm trying, but I don't know what to do right now, and I don't want to just make it look like I'm trying too hard, because I still need time for myself too, because I'm trying to avoid burnout. And I just hope as long as they see me out there farting around and trying my best, that they know that I'm trying to stay squared away. So, I don't know. I don't know what to tell you. So I guess that's it for now. There's some good sales on batteries right now. I don't know if those same sales extend to solar, but I'd recommend, if you're buying batteries, make sure that they're expandable. Making sure, every second or third battery you buy, that you're buying solar also. Test everything. But you don't need to test it a ton, but test it a little bit. And keep good notes of what works in your garden. And if you see something that you like that works for you, and it's affordable, consider buying 2 or 3 of them in case they're not around anymore. And just try to be smart about everything. I really don't know what else to say. We're definitely getting there, though. We're definitely getting towards something really bad. You got these ding-dongs who didn't even let anybody debate for who was going to run for them. And then when they finally had their debate against Orange Man, all of a sudden everyone realized what we've been trying to say for 4 years, that Sleepy Joe's not doing so good. If you watch even videos from like 2019 and 2020, he was still very, 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 very sharp. But something happened at some point in 2020, and he dropped off, and now they're all acting shocked. And so that just adds to the turmoil going on, Crypto's doing okay. I don't know if that's a bubble, but the stock market, a lot of that stuff is way, way, way overinflated. Like, none of this is any advice on anything, but like, if Pelosi's not going for it, and if Kramer says it's really good, I would do your due diligence. If you're investing. I think crypto still has some years left in it. A lot of people that don't know what they're talking about say crypto sucks. But as long as there's things you can buy for it, buy with it, and you can move it around without getting taxed to death, sounds a lot better than what we've got. I mean, there's a lot of cities that can straight up decline cash transactions. But there's a lot of other places where cash is king. So it's going to be different for every area, but you could run around and use your debit card and it could get skimmed in 5 seconds. So just remember, I guess, we're at the bottom of the food chain. So you got to do what works best for you. We're not too far off. All the new phones have virtual SIMs in them. I'm sure there's maybe a couple that don't. Those phones may be junk. I don't know, but my phone's finally on a steep decline, and they're all virtual SIMs that I looked at. And the next generation after that, every single phone is going to mandatory ship with AI. Encryption's going to be useless because the AI is going to be able to natively read everything on the surface level of your phone. Optically, just by being able to read what's on the screen. The only way to have anything private on your safe on your phone anymore is going to be to use it as like a terminal hotspot and use other stuff through it where it's encrypted by the time it hits your phone. That is the world that we're going to be living in. So people say, oh, you won't be able to use crypto anymore. You still will through VPNs and through satellites and stuff. So just do what's best for you. But don't get into any shit coins. Don't get anything based off ETH. But just you can still be smart about it. There's still a little bit of money to be made here and there, or unless there's a giant crypto crash, which the only way that's going to happen is if they roll out digital currency and try to ban crypto. I don't really know what could disrupt it that much right now. So it's not doing amazing, but usually when people get tired of feeding Bitcoin, they feed the altcoins, and then everybody just does well. So I guess there's your little crypto minute. Ammo's going up. Chevron, whatever it's called, Chevron's difference. I don't know, legal stuff, but there's a lot going on with the Second Amendment right now, and bump stocks and shoulder braces, and pay attention to all that too, because you never know when all of a sudden modern rifles could be banned in your state, or magazines could be banned in your state, or ammo could be unobtainium again. Solar panels could be unobtainium again. Gotta pay attention to that stuff. They distract you with dumb shit. And yeah, you should be worried and, pay attention to make sure someone's not following your kid into the bathroom. You should, that needs to be your top priority. Obviously, making sure your kids are safe at school and safe where they go. But your number two priority, needs to be your overall safety and security posture, because the grid's going to be going down. I don't know what it was, but this afternoon and evening, our Wi-Fi was just garbage. You got to be taking this stuff seriously, because this is the calm before the storm. And I know I talk about AI and stuff, but I talk about those things because I want people to realize that AI is not going to end our world. People talk about it, but AI is just a distraction. You can make some songs with it, you can make some pictures with it, you can almost sort of make a little short movie with it. But that's it. AI is not busting the dam on job applications or anything. it's putting people that did the knowledge bases and out of work, and people who type for like tech support out of work, and it's putting people out of work that did like the phones and stuff. But like, it's not gonna end the economy, and neither is robotics. There are going to be a lot of people displaced, yes. But by and large, it is a distraction. You need to focus on keeping your kids safe and securing modern ways of defending yourself, and solar and batteries and cameras and night vision and armor. Food, you know. You have to get ready, because like, just like in my books, the shit that hits the fan is not going to look the same for everybody. It could be a wildfire, it could be a flood, it could be civil unrest. Like, everybody's circumstances are going to be just a little different. So just get prepared if you're not already. I know it's easy to get distracted in priorities, and you got to keep your job until the wheels fall off on that. Spend just a little bit of time working on the overall plan. Because I have a weird feeling like this is going to be a super short summer. And because very few of our things are still growing. If this fall and winter start early, food prices could just keep going up. You know, it doesn't take much to throw everything off. And then by this fall, the civil unrest is going to be insane. So just take care of yourselves, and throw anything down in the comments you want me to expand on. And, radios, But if there's a big solar flare, like, the radios don't work worth a shit. But that doesn't mean you shouldn't have them, They're still a good tool in the toolbox. So, anyway, just take care of yourselves. And I'll play a little song here at the end for whatever that's worth. I've made a couple more songs that weren't on the album, so I'll talk to y'all down in the comments, I guess, the 2 or 3 of you. Appreciate you. Talk to y'all later. Bye.
This is my whole deal. When it's over, any other advice, no lies about anything. Outlook, an abandoned bunker. Let's go. Let's go. Found a bunker deep in the woods. Supplies stacked high, it feels so good. Hiding out neath the leafy hood. Gonna help others try to get through. Got a radio in my hand. Try to reach out across the land. Get the antenna up as high as I can. Being left alone, my only plan. Speak out loud across the world. Sending signals through the air. Gonna help and gonna care. Try to help get everyone squared. People scattered near and far. left alone, my only plan. Speak out loud to the world, sending signals through the air. We are hell and gonna help and gonna care, even though life seems unfair. People scattered near and far, lights shining out like a distant star. Through the static, through the dark, common friends to help restart. If we band together, we should pull through. From my bunker, I can help you. Sending help, tell you all that I know. So grab a drink and enjoy the show.